So the recording will be uploaded. I will upload it and share it with you. Okay, so data warehouse and operational system. The operational systems, they are normally known as OLTP, online transaction processing. Okay, it is about capturing the transactions. What are the daily things which are changing in the organizations? Which things are added, which things are removed, how the things are updated, the prices are updated, etc. This is OLTP, or operational systems. Okay, so these operation systems, they make the wheels of the business turn. What does that mean? Wheels of the business turn means that they run the business. Okay, they help in running the business. Like a cashier, okay, a cashier at a shop. If the cashier system does not work, you cannot run the shop because people will not be able to buy things. So that is an online transaction processing, because you are making transactions every time a person comes. You check in the things, okay, you pass the barcode toward the system records which things are going out, okay, and then those things, they are recording the database that this thing has been sold, and the database is updated with new number of items. So before, let's say there were 10 items. Now, after 1 minute, one item was sold. After another few minutes, another item was sold. So you know that in the shop now you have 8 items. So that is running the business. Data warehouse is watching the wheels of business turn. What does that mean? Watching the wheels means that you make special attention to how things are going, which things people are buying, which day is more important for people to buy something, and that's why they have sales. Okay, all those different urud, those sales, okay, those takhfizat, they are because of the data warehouse decisions. They know that these things are not used, people don't buy those things on this price. So okay, in the sale you will have a reduced price for that shirt or for that trouser or whatever it is, shoes, etc. So you make those decisions based on what is there in the warehouse, the actual warehouse, which means in your store. And then you make an estimate that you need to sell those things, otherwise it will become old, out of fashion, people will not buy it, and you will lose, money. So you make a sale of all those things which people usually did not buy during 1 year or during some time, and now it's time to get rid of those things. So you have a sale, and this is how data warehouse decisions help you. Now, OLTP and data warehouse, they have different scope, different purposes, okay? And we are going to see that. Okay, so a data warehouse is a database which is kept separate from the organizational operational database. Now, this is what we learned in this slide. The data warehouse is also a database. It's, I think, Jude or someone said that is a type of database. In that sense, yes, it is a database, but this is different than the normal database, which means that in day-to-day business, whatever you do, it will only affect the operational database. It will not affect the data warehouse. The operational database is updated frequently, every minute, every second, but data warehouse is not updated frequently. Okay, it may be updated only once a day, only once a week, or something like that. Okay, but it is not actually for every operation. It is a group of operation at a specific time, at the end of the day or at the end of the week, etc. A data warehouse helps executives to organize, understand, and use their data to take strategic decisions. That comes again and again. You organize the data, you summarize the data, you make different points from the data, you understand, okay, and how do you use the data to take strategic decision. Data warehouse systems help in the integration of diversity of application systems. Diversity of applications, which means that there are visualization application, reporting application, okay, summarization application, etc. Okay, that you can use in the data warehouse systems, and we will see some example of applications. A data warehouse system helps in consolidated historical data analysis. Consolidated means combined. Historical data is, let's say, from 1 month, from 1 year, even up to 10 years. So a data warehouse may contain data up to 10 years or even more, okay, historical data, all the organization history, all the types of products used, sold, returned, damaged, okay, created, distributed, all the information is there in the data warehouse. Okay, again, data warehouse is different. So separating database operations from data analytics, which is the data warehouse, generally improves data access performance, leading to faster business insights. Okay, so the normal database operations, they are different than the data warehouse operations, and it will give better business insights. Business insights, they come from data warehouse. Operational database queries allow, now remember important thing, that operational database queries, they allow to read and modify data. They will modify the data that, okay, this thing has been sold, so it has been changed. Before there were 5, now there are only 3 or 4 items of that data, or maybe all the items have been sold, so there are 0 item available for that data in the store. But the online analytical processing queries in a data warehouse, okay, so we use OLAP in the data warehouse, they need only read-only access. Okay, they don't change anything. They just want to read what happened, at which date, at which site, by which person, for example, by which products, okay, etc. Data warehouse queries are often complex and they present a general form of data. Now, this is something that the database queries, they are simple. How are they simple? You have insert, you have delete, you have update. These are the simple queries, okay? But data warehouse queries, they are complex, they are long, they contain many conditions, okay, from different tables. So they are usually complex, they are not easily formulated, and that's why usually it takes time to have a data warehouse query, but once you define a query, you keep it with you because you will need that query again and again with some different parameters. Operational databases support concurrent processing of multiple transactions. That is also a very, very important point, that normally databases can process multiple transactions. What is multiple transactions? Many users can use that. Consider in a bank, database. A bank database which holds information about the customer accounts, okay? So this database can be accessed by thousands of people at the same time. How? Well, they may be using ATM, they may be using point of sale purchase when you pay using your card at a cashier. So that is POS, point of sale purchase, okay? So all these are about a single database of the bank, and therefore maybe at the same time there are thousands of people who are accessing the bank's database. And an operational database maintains current data. A data warehouse maintains historical data. That's also an important difference. Okay, current data, which is just available right now. What has happened, we don't know in the operational database, but a data warehouse maintains historical data. Now here is a point-by-point comparison of how the operational database is different from informational. So the first aspect is about the content. The content of operational database is that it contains current values. Okay, informational database, they contain archived, okay, which means old values, derived, which has been derived from the main database, and summarized values. Okay, so this is information because it can organize, summarize the data for you. The data structure in operational database, what is data structure? How you store data, in which type of files do you store? How do you store data on the hard disk, on the magnetic disk, on USB, etc. This is the data structure, okay? So the operational data structure is optimized for transactions, which means that it must be a data structure in which you can do transactions very quickly. Add, update, delete, drop, all those things, they can be done very quickly without waste of time. So the operational database is designed with optimization for transaction, and the information is not about quick retrieval or quick search, but it is optimized for complex queries. The queries can be very complex. For example, we may be able to combine many products simultaneously and find a relation between them with respect to different, time periods, with respect to different users. So complex queries are important part of the data warehouse, and their data structure is for complex queries. So what is the data structure? That will be a high dimensional cube. We will study the data structure for data warehouse. Now the access frequency of operational database is high. I gave you many examples once again, that every second maybe a person is buying something, that will be a transaction recorded into the operational database. But in informational database or a data warehouse, the access frequency is medium to low. Okay, mostly it is low, which means that not everyone is using it, and not everyone is using it every time. Okay, so it may be used once a day, or maybe after a few days, to see how things have been in the past, in the history. Okay, the access type of operational database is read, update, delete. All the things are possible. Add something, delete something. But in information, it is mostly read. They only just read some data. Okay, they summarize the data, but they don't add new data, or they don't change the data inside the data warehouse. The usage of operational database is predictable and repetitive. Predictable means we may know that how will this be used. Okay, and repetitive means it is used again and again, the same things. Okay, people come, they buy something, and they go, and whatever they buy, it is recorded into the operational database. But information database usage may be ad hoc. Ad hoc means based on the need. So it may be needed something, you will execute that. It's not repetitive. So let's say today you may be executing one complex query, tomorrow the query may be quite different. Okay, so that is ad hoc. Random, because it is not predefined. It is according to the need. And heuristics means how you think about something. You think that it could happen, so you have a query for that. Okay, whatever could happen, you have a query for that. Response time of operational database is sub-seconds, which means that very quick. It should not be in seconds, but sub-seconds, in milliseconds. Okay, and informational database or the data warehouse, the response time can be up to several minutes. Why? Because the query is very complex, and because the data it is going to retrieve may contain millions of records. It's not just a few thousand, but maybe millions or even billions of records. Billions of records, for example, it may contain a record for, let's say, we're talking about Facebook transactions. For every user, there are different transactions. When you post something, when you like something, okay, when you comment on something, when you reply to something, when you poke on something, some post, etc. All these are what? All these are different type of data that you give. So it may take several seconds. Users, operational database has large number. Okay, consider the Facebook database, for example, because Facebook is used by many people. Okay, okay, sorry. Yes, Siham, you have sent a message, but somehow the chat, because I close it. Okay, so I see it very later that you said that data is not deleted when new data is added to it. Yes, yes, that is the your thing for what? That was for read. Okay, yeah, data warehouse read. Yes, it is not deleted. In fact, we are not even updating it frequently. Okay, mostly it is about reading the data. So I was talking about users are large number. As a Facebook user, for example, or Twitter user, they are accessing the database. When you tweet something, it goes into the operational database. Remember, the Twitter, when you tweet something, or when you click on reply tweet or something, like a tweet, etc., share your tweet, all this information is about operational database. But those people who are using the data warehouse of Twitter or Facebook, etc., they are small, a few people. Okay, maybe 2, 3, 10, 20 people who are trying to understand the patterns of information exchange between Twitter users. So they will be very few. And all the users of Twitter, they are millions or even billions. So that is large number of operational users. Okay. Okay, so what are the desired features of data warehouse? Database designed for analytical tasks. Okay, that is the feature, that we design a data warehouse database for analytical tasks. Analytical means we do some analysis. Data is from multiple sources in a data warehouse, not from a single source. Easy to use and conducive to long interactive sessions by the users. Okay, so data warehouse may be long sessions because you may be doing different type of analysis. You may generate one query, ask a query, it may give you an answer, but you will not be satisfied by the answer because you thought that you were looking for something else. You will execute another query and so on. There is a read intensive data usage, as we said, direct interaction of the user with the system. That's something. Here it's direct. In case of operational, it may not be direct. Like I gave you the example of Twitter. You tweet. So actually, whenever you tweet, your data is added to the Twitter database. But you are not using the Twitter database. You are just using their website. Whatever you do on the website, it goes into their transactional database. So in the case of operational, it may not be direct. It may be indirect. You don't know that if a data is being used. When you buy something from Amazon, from soup.com, whatever websites it is, online commerce website, so you are actually dealing with the website, and the website is on the behind the scene, adding or deleting things or reading things from the database. Another desired feature of a data warehouse is the ability for users to run queries and get results online, which means that get results quickly rather than waiting for them. Okay. Also, the desired feature of data warehouse is the ability for users to initiate reports. Now, reports is very important. Okay, taqarir, different types of reports you need for different performance things. Okay, what reports we will need, we will study those in next chapters, but it can be about the customer's report, for example, report about which country has increased customer, which country has which prices, etc. So that is in the form of the reports. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of data warehouse? Okay. So data warehouse enables organizations to centralize data from disparate, means distinct or different data sources. That's the main benefit. You don't need to go into different sources one by one and to ask for how do they work. Okay, the data in the data warehouse will come to you automatically from different sources. They may contain transaction systems, for example, cashier system, operational databases, okay, again from the cashier system or about the product information, and flat files. Flat files means normal text files. Sometimes you may have normal text files or even the HTML files, web pages. Okay, this data from web pages, etc. They will be what? They will be there from the they will be a different source and will be added to the data warehouse. Okay, standardizing data by creating a single source, of course, that's what I explained. Removing bad data, that's also very interesting. This is part of cleaning, etc. We will understand some cleaning, we will do some cleaning, because if you insert bad data, okay, then the bad data may give you bad results. You want to avoid that. Okay, so bad data, what is bad data, how do you identify bad data? That depends on the situation, but we will see that. Okay, we will see some example of identifying bad data. We may eliminate, we will remove the duplicates. Okay, we don't want duplicates, the same data is repeated, no. Okay, so we will remove that, and all these things will result in better data quality for analysis. So that's something important that we will do some cleaning and transforming before the analysis. Then there is the generalized and consolidated data in multidimensional view. Okay, generalized and consolidated data. What is generalized? It is general purpose data. It's not for a specific department, but you have combined the data from the whole organization into one place. Consolidate means you combine them, and multidimensional view we will understand. Now, in the databases, normally we don't talk about multidimensional views, okay? We have just two dimensions, for example, rows and columns. But here we will do more than that, and that is interesting. That is something about data warehouse, which we will learn in this course. Then data warehouse provides online analytical processing tools, okay? So there are different types of tools for specific type of processing. These are interactive tools for effective analysis and multidimensional space, and for data generalization and data mining. Now, once again, data mining is one part of data warehouse. Okay, and we will see the difference between these two. So uses of data warehouse. Data warehouses are used by the government organizations, okay, by the policy decisions, citizen support program, education and healthcare requirements. Now, I will just break for 1 minute and give you a chance to give me examples of this first thing, government. Okay, we take this KSA, okay, Saudi Arabia as an example. Okay, but can you tell me how the government is using data warehousing in policy decisions, in changing some policies, okay? Or citizen support program. What can be the citizen support program? Education and health requirements. Yes, anyone who can discuss any example of the government use of data warehouse. Yes, I'm listening. And because the lecture is being recorded, so I will say, be quick and try to give you an answer as soon as possible. You can type or you can talk in the mic. Yes, one by one. So everyone has to talk one aspect from here, okay? I give chance to every one of you. Yes. I want you to wake up, okay? Yes, give me answers that how the Saudi government is using data warehouse, for example, in your opinion, for making policy decisions or for citizen, mawatinin or muqimin, whoever they are, their support program, maybe in educational and health requirements. Any examples? There are many, many examples I can give to you, okay? But I want to listen from you because you have been using online systems, different systems for the government. So maybe you can name a few systems and we will discuss that. Any system, any app, any website that is from the government and the government is using that for changing the policy, for updating the policy, etc. Yes. Okay, Upshare. Good tidings. What is that? Good tidings. So, Najud, maybe you can explain. This is Tawakkalna. Yes, Tawakkalna and Upshare. Okay, good. We will discuss that. Yes, Upshare, Tawakkalna. Anything else? Yes. So, two examples, Upshare and Tawakkalna. Anything else? Qiyas. Okay, good. Qiyas. I have not used that, but I understand. Al-Khidmat Madaniya, which means Ahwal Madaniya. Okay. Yes. Medical data warehouse. Okay. What is example of medical data warehouse? Maybe you can discuss, but yes. So, okay, good. Everyone has answered something. So if we start with, let's say, Upshare, for example, what's in Upshare? Upshare gives you what? It gives you basic facilities related to, for example, your who is in your family. For example, what is your status? How many vehicles do you have? Okay. Yes, the name of all the family members. Okay, the dependents. How many workers are with you? If you are a business person, then information about that. If you are not a business person, then what is your general education, for example? What is your job status? Okay. If you have a car, do you have health insurance? Do you have car insurance? Yes. Jawaz Safar passport? Yes. Even Hajj information, Hajj, whether you can do Hajj, etc. or not, it's there on the, yes, all personal information about the population. Yes, so they can control the population information and they can make decisions according to that. Okay, what type of decisions they can make? Like 2 days ago, there was information that also the citizens, okay, if they have not taken the booster dose, the third dose, okay, what is Anshatia or what is called booster dose, if they have not taken the booster dose, they cannot leave the kingdom. They cannot go outside because they have not taken the booster dose, for example. Okay, so that is something, a policy. And because of that, they know that how many people from Tawakkalna, they can know how many people have taken one or two or three or maybe zero shots from vaccine, so they can control population and they can ask the people to do this thing, or even they control that without tawakkalna you cannot enter without tawakkalna status in a shop, for example, in the university. So all these are policy decisions and they are done using data warehouse system because they have the data of all the population and the history is there. So when you open your tawakkalna, you know that it tells you when did you have your first shot, when did you have your second shot of vaccine, and you can book for, yes, give me one more example. So tawakkalna, Afshir, Qiyas is for education, I think. Yes.
In general, Authority for Statistics, they keep a lot of information about population when they want to learn. I don't know what's name in English
This
that
may
is
be
a can.
okay, yeah. So fine. Just this also reminds me. Thank you about 2 or 3 days ago to my house. A person came for ihsa, this census. Okay, population information. How many people are living in this house, etc. So the Saudi government, they started about 2 years ago. I remember a person came, but because of Corona they stopped. So I asked him, why do you come again? He said, because of Corona we stopped, and the government said, let's start again. So for this ihsa of I don't know what census it is called in English, okay, that they count people, how many old, how many young, for example. Although the person did not ask me about young and old, but asked me about how many people in general in the house, for example, how many ladies, how many males, etc. So that is also controlled, because he was using a iPad, for example. In the iPad or any device, he was entering all the information. So as soon as he entered the information, it goes into the data warehouse where it is stored. So even after 10 years, they know that on which date, who was living where, and so on, because he recorded my ID. So they know now that my family is living at which place, and they have a sticker on my door, so that contains information about me, etc. Okay, so that is the use of government. And yes, she said also the general organization of statistics or general administration for statistics, whatever it is. But this is an organization that, in fact, in many countries, they have information about the prices, daily prices, food prices. Okay, and they, on the daily basis or weekly basis, they release the prices, that was there a change in the price, the prices are up, prices are down. Okay, similarly, prices of petrol, prices of gas, etc. So these are statistics, they are being used. Okay, good. Then e-commerce is about analyzing and reporting on sales performance and shopping. Okay, so different e-commerce website, they use data warehouse. And I told you before, I gave you the example that based on these, they decide when is the good time to do the sale, for example. Okay, when to start the sale. For example, in Center Point and Home Center, they have sales. Like today, they were changing the banner of Home Center. They had some new sort of sale maybe starting, and then their red tag, etc. So they have their own days of sales. They know, and they decide based on what is there in the stock. Okay, so usually they have annual sales date, for example, before Eid or just after Eid, for example, or start of the new year, or start of Ramadan, or maybe some other vacations, or Yom al-Watani. Okay, all those things, they give you what? They give you example on, in the use of e-commerce in, or data warehouse in e-commerce. Okay, then transportation. Think about, this, what is this, our transportation, flights also possible. Okay, and other than flights, the bus ones, I forgot the name. Saptco, yes. So the Saptco, they have data warehouse, which routes from which city to which city, when to run a bus. Okay, which airplane from which cities is needed. Okay, so they may stop a route or they may create a new route depending upon different things. During vacations, for example, they have special flights, and they will announce many months ago that, let's say, during Hajj holidays, you have discount price. So if you book 2 months ago, they will know that how many people are going, so they can add more flights, and this way they can earn more money. Okay, so all this is done through the data warehousing. Similarly, for staff, how many staff do we need? The equipments, what equipments do we need? For example, STC, and they will know where to have a new exchange or information distribution, where do we have this fiber, etc. Okay, scheduling of jobs, scheduling of flights, scheduling of trains, all those things, transportation is done in the data warehouses. Medical example, yes, diagnosis and treatment of patients. Even Sahati, for example. Okay, Sahati is example. Mawed is example in which you have appointments. Okay, so they ask you, why do you need the reason for appointment? Let's say you take appointment on Mawed, they will ask you the reason. They will ask you the clinic, so they can decide which clinic has more people, which clinic is doing good. And then at the end, they also ask you, send you a survey, Istabian. How was your service? Okay, how did you feel any difficulty in that after accessing their service? Even like I use Saudi Airlines, so when I come back from to a Saudi airline, they will send me an SMS to do a survey, or send me an email to do a survey, in which they ask you if I had any problem. I had any problem during ticket I have any problem during check-in. I have any problem during, flight. Was there any problem with the attendant, with the air hostess or the steward, etc. So many things they are kept, using the data warehouse information, and they don't analyze one by one. Okay, because in one flight there may be hundreds of people. Out of these 100 people, let's say 10 people have filled the survey. Now in one day there may be 100 flights, and there are, let's say, 10 people in every flight. So this is 1,000 surveys in one day, which is impossible for one person or even 10% to analyze, because they cannot combine. So a data warehouse reporting will tell, using graphs and using other ways, graphical ways, visualizations or summarization, where is the problem. Okay, so that is something. Then banking, you have fraud detection and risk evaluation. Okay, what is fraud detection? Can anyone tell me example of fraud detection? Yes, fraud detection. What is a fraud? What do you call a fraud in Arabic? I don't know. Fraud. Fraud detection is something which you do, and where you use this tasveer. Okay, tasveer. Yes. So thank you. But give me an example. How do we use fraud detection in banking? What type of fraud people do in banking? Can you first explain? And what do you think we will?
I have
How
one.
will we? Sorry.
I have one example.
Yes. Yes.
If someone he want to take qard, I don't know what's name, that borrow money from a bank.
Loan.
So
Take a loan.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, he give provide that report from the company he work, that his salary is too much, but in the fact he have another salary.
Okay.
For example, to get more load. You understand me?
Yes, good. Okay. So how does the bank know that it is wrong, like this is fraud? How does the bank know? What do you think? Because let's say I give a salary in which I say that my salary is 50,000 real, I give it to the bank. So how does the bank confirm that my salary is not 50,000 real, it is less than 50,000, for example?
From the same direction that he work, if it's a sign from the from that what's name الجهة بيعمل فيها.
Yeah, but this is if it's size from sign, then there is no data warehouse. Where is the use of data warehouse in that? What do you think? Because the sign will be seen by a person. Okay, so the person can see the sign, and the person.
Yeah. I have another one. I just remember now that application for SEMA. SEMA.
Yeah,
there's one
the
application.
monitoring agency. Yeah.
Yes, you in all people in SEMA they have one report that if he have take from Bank Al Ahli load, he cannot take from Al Rajhi Bank, because they will check in the beginning, send the report to SEMA, and then he can see that the if he have another bank, he take a money or no.
Yeah, this is a good example that actually if you take loan from one bank and at the same time or just soon you go to another bank, so they will check that the person has already taken a loan, so why should we give him another loan? Because it's difficult for that person. So that's a type of fraud. So that's a good example that the SEMA, it will check, okay, cross check that this person. Similarly for credit card. Okay, so when you have a credit card, okay, so the main center, they know that this person has a credit card. So if you abuse or misuse one credit card, the other company may not be giving you a credit card easily, because they know your record, they know everything. So the bank has a central way of knowing. This is known as the credibility. If you know, credibility means trust. The system trusts you or not. So this risk evaluation, okay, in the banking, fraud detection and risk evaluation is based on your reputation or trust. So if you have misuse of a credit card, your trust value is low. If you go again to another bank, they may see your trust value and they may not give you. And similarly, in addition to trust, there is the, how much money you are allowed to spend on a credit card, for example. So if you have a good trust value, they will give you more chance, more money. Okay, or if you use credit card with a bank for many years, after every year they will increase the money you can borrow from the bank, for example. Okay, but if you fail to comply with that in first or second, let's say, time, the next time they may not increase the value, or even they may not offer you. Okay, so تزوير تحويل العملات, yes, تحويل العملات, this is also currency exchange. Najud, thank you, that in currency exchange you can do those things which are possible. Okay, finally, social media, then we will take a break. Social media, trends analysis, sentiment analysis. Okay, do you know about these things? What is trends analysis and sentiment analysis? Anyone?
Can I say?
Yeah.
If for example, that yesterday, most of the people, they have a taint or the same feeling about that problem for Rayan, if you know that kids. So from that, they have they what's name that
Understand. Okay, fine. So
they
that
will
is
know
sentiment
that.
analysis, right? Feeling, as she said, depends on customer feeling. Okay, so customer feeling or people's general feeling. Sentiment analysis can be used by companies like Amazon or Extra, or even other companies like IKEA, etc. They do sentiment analysis. They know that what people say about their products, about their services. Okay, so when they ask you a survey or a feedback, they want to know your sentiment. Okay, they want to know how do you feel. So they will ask you to rate their service from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. Okay, so I give you example again of that of Movid. Okay, the Movid application. When you visit a doctor, when you come home, they will send you a message and they will ask you, how good do you rate this doctor, for example? Okay, and then they will ask you, how good do you recommend this doctor to another person? Which means that if you really like the doctor, you will recommend it, you will say 10 out of 10. If you don't like it, maybe you give that doctor 1 or 2 points. Okay, reviews, yes, reviews are sentiment analysis. So review is an important part. Trends analysis, how things are. Like in Twitter, we have trends. Okay, yes. In tweets, we have trend analysis. So in Saudi, one trend maybe in one day, next day there will be another trend. So this is also good for policy making, that the government know what people are thinking. Okay, how angry are people, how good, happy are people. So maybe government announces some bonus, for example. Okay, so after that bonuses, or maybe some relief, or maybe they say that, okay, we want to give, a long weekend on Yom Al Watani. Instead of one day, you have 3 days, so people are happy, and they will announce, and this will show that the government is making good steps. Okay, so government decides something, announce something, and the people will show, some different things. A few days back, there was this flag, Saudi flag sentiment. Okay, this alam, and then I heard that they wanted to change that, but I don't know what happened. But things like these, they know from the social media. Okay, so we will take a short break, and then we will come to the next topic, which is about the data warehouse architecture. So let's take a break of 15 minutes.